Awesome. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Miss Miranda, and I am here today with YouTuber Lynn the OreO. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So we're here today to talk about how Lynn decided, well, not decided actually, Lynn ended up being going from conservative to leftist, and we're going to talk about that journey together. Now, first question, what really got you into the conservative movement?
Um, it's kind of funny because I guess you could say before all that happened, I was pretty apolitical. Like I just didn't care about politics. Like the first time I actually encountered it fully was when I was 16, and that was when uh not 16, 17. That was when Donald Trump got elected. And I remember going to school the next day and we were in theater class. This is funny because of all classes we were talking about this in theater. But our theater teacher, like we all had this discussion and whatnot about how like we thought our lives were going to be affected because, some of the policies that he had in place could affect like, young people and, going to college and trying to pay for it and, thinking about your future with the job market and all that. So I remember he told us like, to get involved in the politics because like we may not think that it's like important but it does affect us. So I guess you could say the way I went about it was the wrong way. um because so I remember my best friend, me and him, we always used to talk about politics sometimes. Like after that like discussion we would always talk about it like at one point or another. But I remember like, he was telling me, oh yeah, you should like, he was like, I'm pretty sure that there are political YouTube videos. Now he didn't say like what YouTubers, I don't even think he watched like some of the YouTubers I was watching, but he did tell me like if I want to dive in, like try to like look at some YouTube videos or whatnot. So the first person I stumbled across was some black guy. And he seemed pretty chill to me. He actually reminded me in a few ways of my best friend. So I guess that's why I got like more comfortable with watching his videos. And then it went from some black guy to Blair White.
Mhm.
And at first I didn't really kind of catch on to like her political ideas. I thought she was the same as some black guy because to me some black guy's not like a conservative. To me
Mhm.
he's like a centrist. But I guess more and more of watching her videos and then, watching some of the people that she was associated with, it kind of led me to have some conservative viewpoints. And I remember I remember like me and my mom, we were kind of talking about, some of the viewpoints I was like getting and we would talk about it. And I used to like, I would always say, no, I'm not a conservative, I'm a centrist. But while I would say that, I wouldn't be saying things like, oh, oh God, what's a centrist viewpoint? Uh,
Mostly like both sides type of
yeah, like I would kind of say like, oh yeah, both sides suck. But what Donald Trump is doing isn't really that bad. Like I actually remember me and my mom, we were talking about him when he said, um, Haiti and certain African countries were shithole countries, and she was mad about it. But me, I tried to reason it. I tried to rationalize what he said, even though it really is an egregious thing to say. But I tried to rationalize it. I was like, oh, maybe it's not that bad. Like they do have poor economies there. They're not really good countries. So maybe he is right in some sense. I don't know, but um that's why I said that's the point where I started to feel like I was conservative when I started to like see, oh yeah, Trump's not that bad. Everybody's just complaining. Everybody's just, you know, um, making nonsense out of the whole thing. And that's when I began to watch more and more conservative right wing YouTubers. Um, Eventually to the point where I got to James Alsop.
oh boy.
Now when I first stumbled across James, I didn't know that he was alt right. His videos, like the layout of his videos, it might sound weird, but they kind of seemed like, you know, just your run of the mill anti-SJW videos. Like he did videos on MTV, and he would do videos on like queer kid stuff, and like, you know, like all the channels that like the anti-SJWs they usually like used to go after back then. And you know, to me, I was like, okay, well, he's not that bad until um I learned about his, you know, involvement in Charlottesville. Um, Now, despite the fact that I was conservative, I knew that Charlottesville was a fucked up situation. I knew that what the alt right did there and Heather Heyer's death by getting hit by that car, I knew that everything that happened there was really fucked. So when I learned that he was there, and I think Sean did a video on him, and in the video they included clips of his stream from when he was in Charlottesville, and he's laughing at like all the racist shit that everybody's saying. He's even making some racist comments himself. He's fangirling over David Duke and Richard Spencer, you know. So when I saw that, I kind of had to think, and I kind of had to take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and kind of think like, oh shit, why am I watching this person? You know, why am I agreeing with them? Um, And I think another point where I kind of questioned James Alsop was he did a political compass test video, and one of the questions was I think it was like something along the lines of authority should always be questioned, and he said I think he said he strongly disagreed with it or he slightly disagreed with it. I forgot which one, but that was the moment where I was like, okay, yeah, this guy is not good. I don't know why I'm watching him. Why did I go this far? So I kind of took a step back. Um, but it also wasn't just that. It wasn't just, you know, stumbling across like Sean's video. And, you know, then of course that led further into more and more content from leftist creators. But no, um, I'd actually say like, uh, I think I'm kind of going beyond the question of like, oh, well, how are you, what got you into conservatism? But
Oh, that's totally fine.
I guess I might just answer like, well, what got me out of it? Really, it was sociology class. When I started college, I think 2018, I took this sociology class, and this professor, her name is Professor Mans, and I think she's like strongly, I know she's left leaning, but I don't know exactly where she stands. But um, some of the things that she was talking about in class, they just really made me get out of that mindset. So like about the gender wage gap, you know, how this perspective that, oh, it's because women choose these certain jobs, when really it's like, well, you got to look at like the societal reasons as to why women would choose those jobs, because we have this viewpoint on women where we think that they're more so the caregiver and they're more nurturing and caring, which is why we might see more women like be teachers and nurses besides do like do jobs that you would see more so with men. And that perspective I didn't get that perspective before, and it kind of made me change my outlook on things. And also, you know, learning about, well, why are black people still struggling? Like, why can't we, you know, prosper as a community? And you know, you learn about all these things that, you know, I didn't know. um you know, how uh lift yourself up by your bootstraps is like a wrong outlook to have on like um, poverty and struggling. And you know, that her like class really, I'd say, was the first push for me to go left wing. And then it was watching, you know, content creators. Like I think the first content creator I ever stumbled across, it was Sean, but the first one I watched like vigorously was ContraPoints. ContraPoints was the first like creator I watched vigorously, and then it was Destiny, then it was Sean, then it was others. And when I first started this channel, I was originally going to make it like the anti-SJW channels. Like this is why I have a animated avatar, you know, from like when I used the Oreo cookie and all that. The inspiration for that was actually, I think me and you both know who this is, Sugar Tits.
Yeah.
I used to watch her videos, her and Bearing's videos, and they had like the bear avatar. I was like, ooh, that looks cool. I want to do something like that. You know, they're always like changing facial expressions with the avatars and stuff. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. But yeah, when I started off my channel, that was the original idea. It was like, yeah, anti-SJW stuff, you know, just me talking about stuff like with an animated avatar. But when I started going leftward and I started to like get leftist ideas, I would kind of start to question like, do I want to keep the avatar? Do I want to show myself? But honestly, I wanted to keep the avatar because I honestly didn't see that a lot from leftist creators. Like usually with leftist videos, the person is in the video. Like the actual person is talking and you can see them on camera, you can see their facial expressions, but I kind of wanted to be unique, you know. I always like being unique and creative, and you know, I was thinking, well, shit, I already have the avatar, so why not use it? And yep, the rest is history.
Yeah, and I noticed how fast your channel is growing. Right now, if I look at your channel, it's at 3.44K subscribers.
Oh wait, sorry. I gotta go check on something really quick. I'll be back.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm just going to address everyone in the audience that's watching right now. So Angie joined us, so I want to say hi to Angie. I want to say hi to Cause, and I want to say hi to Booger Boy as well. I like that. I like that one. So this is a question for Lynn. What's your opinion on Soph? Now that Lynn's gone, I'm just going to mention right away that Soph, unfortunately, is someone that I feel like she's being used by either her older brother or her parents. So when Lynn gets back, I would love to hear what Lynn has to say about this. And interestingly enough, a lot of the people I speak to about these particular conversations we have, a lot of it has to do with the YouTube algorithm. Every time I speak to so many people, they mention the YouTube algorithm. They're saying like it went from this YouTuber to this YouTuber, and like how did it get to watching a centrist speak of their opinions towards like someone like James Alsop? That's incredible. It just went through this entire like train, all the way from centrist to alt-right. So it's something we have to kind of keep in mind as well, is what kind of content we're creating. That's and where does it lead to?
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, nice for you to be back, because we have a question for you. Booger Boy wrote, "What's your opinion on Soph?" Meaning, yeah, everyone knows which Soph this is.
Yeah, I actually used to watch Soph, like, because this is actually funny, and I think it might actually like contribute to some of the things that like why some black guy ended up on like my recommendeds. Before I started getting into politics, I actually used to watch like a lot of commentary YouTubers, so like Leafy, Pyrocynical, and Lieutenant Corvus. That's Soph. Like before she was Soph, she was Lieutenant Corvus. I used to watch her, and I don't know what it was, but I just thought like, because I think I started watching when I was like 14, 15, and I was like, oh shit, it's kind of funny, like a young, because like when you look at like someone like Lieutenant Corvus back then, I think she was like 11, 12, and
wow.
she's making these videos where she's like cursing and she's talking about like certain things that, you know, are, I guess you could say, more so adult oriented. So like one of the things that she would say, and this is heavily influenced by Leafy and all the other guys, is before she would go into like the topic of the video, she might say something like, and I don't know if this would I don't I don't know if saying this will, like, you know, end up getting you in trouble or not, but this is, I quote. I don't know if I want to say it, but let's just say it has to do something with butt plugs and Doritos. Wow. And yeah. I won't say the full quote, but that's just like the gist. But yeah, she would say things like that. And I don't know, to me, I guess, you know, because I was 14, 15, I just thought it was funny. But yeah, I think that Soph is a very interesting case of how the internet can be impressionable on, I guess, teenagers and children. Or how, like, you know, just being exposed to these ideas, like when you're not really, I guess, well equipped to like know that, oh shit, that's bullshit. You know, it's kind of funny to watch because it's like not funny in the sense that it's hilarious, but just funny in the way of like it makes you think because with Soph, she's so young. Like she's young and you know, she's I want to say that part of me hopes that she does break out of it. You know, because I do think that you know she is being influenced by older people around her. I think a lot of people mention her brother being the source of influence for her. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I just really hope that you know she can break out of that because it just shows how like teenagers can just be like easily manipulated and whatnot if
Yeah,
if they don't know how to like you know recognize the bullshit and like people's arguments like that.
I can see how there would be people her age probably falling into that trap, but I was always concerned that there were people around our age and older that actually watch her content, and it baffled me. I was wondering why people around our age find it interesting to watch a 12-year-old curse and say edgy things, let's say. And a lot of it wasn't edgy. Just to be clear, Soph was someone who called for a genocide of all Muslims. Uh, she has sent a death threat, actually made a video uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, saying that she wanted to kill the CEO of YouTube and her family.
Mm-hmm.
And among that, there was a lot of homophobic and Islamophobic type of videos put out there. And it makes me wonder, why are people watching this type of content? So the next question I have for you, actually, which is really interesting, it had to kind of correlate with it. Um, what are your thoughts on how uh, this oh, it's just a joke type of mentality is actually influencing a lot of people to go further right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of this like encounter I had on Twitter, with this dude. When I made that post about Blair White, I was like, oh yeah, Blair White, because it was a photo of be a trans woman or be a white supremacist, and it was like two paths. And I kind of made a joke. I was like, well, Blair White decided to go down both of those routes, and this dude commented, and he's like, oh, I must have missed the white supremacist arc. And I was like, yeah, you did. And I kind of like posted these tweets where, you know, she's saying things like, if he ain't Aryan, then we ain't marrying. And, you know, she did the tweet where she has on like this black charcoal face mask, but the caption of the photo is mocking like black people who are part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And he's like, oh, well, those are just jokes. I'm like, where's the punchline? Where you know where's the like indication that it's a joke. I think that when you say things like it's just a joke on certain things that you know that can be seen as genuine thoughts from a person, so like the if he ain't Aryan, we ain't marrying, like if we look at the context, sure, Aryan means white, but Aryan is sometimes it's mostly associated with white nationalists. And then we look at her tweet where you know she has on the black charcoal face mask and she's making fun of Black Lives Matter, um, like I guess you could say members or protesters who happen to be black. You know, if we say that that's a joke, then it kind of blurs the line between I want to say it blurs the line between genuine thought and comedy. Um, and I think Vosh pointed this out too. So if we keep saying that something's a joke, right? So let's say if I were to sit here and I were to say, "Oh, I think that all white people should die of cancer," right? Now let's say that I get ridiculed for that, and let's say that you said, "Oh, Lynn was just joking.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't serious about that. It was just a joke." One, we have to under so I think that we have to kind of look at the context of what's being said or and look at any type of pattern that the person might have had in the past to this type of behavior. So if I have a pattern of me repeatedly talking about how I want to kill white people or how I think white people should die, and you know people keep saying it's a joke, it kind of like although the pattern is there, it becomes hard to try to, I guess, how would I put this? It becomes hard to argue that what this person is doing is wrong because it keeps being defended as a joke. It keeps being said that it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. And nobody can really like determine, well, does Lynn really not like white people or is she just joking about not liking white people? Like, is this something that we should attack or is it something that we should just not care about? So I guess that's my thoughts on the whole it's a joke thing.
It's interesting that you pointed that out because when we look at cases like Shane Dawson, where he's claiming that a lot of what he did were jokes. Well,
Mhm.
like you said, we have to look at the pattern. Why is it that he continuously makes jokes that make him look more and more like a pedophilic person?
Right.
Um, and why is this stuff that is happening in private while he's making videos? It's not something he's posting online. He's actually having these videos done in private. And why is he making these jokes directed towards young people? And it's not like he's hanging out with his friends and making jokes. He's actually talking this way to a 12-year-old child.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at. And I have to say this as well. This is pretty much the same argument that's used with the likes of Jordan Peterson. Oh, you're taking him out of context, you know? And it's an easy way to that there's no fault in the person. There's no fault because they were just joking. You took them out of context. It's always those things. And of course people can be taken out of context. Of course people can be joking. But we have to figure out, like, we have to look at the past. We have to look at the way they act, what they have said in the past. We have to really look deeper into it. So I totally agree with you on that. So now that we talked about you going into conservatism, and while you were away, I briefly spoke about how the YouTube algorithm is interesting. How you can be watching a centrist, and then suddenly you're watching someone like James Alsop. Do you feel that there has to be some big changes in YouTube and social media in general when it comes to just the fact that they're able to indoctrinate people into the alternative?
I haven't really thought about this much. I know that I do think that some of the content that, obviously the right on YouTube makes, like the likes of like Stefan Molyneux and who else? Also, people of their caliber. Like I do think that YouTube, like I guess suspending them or getting rid of them, like banning them from the platform. Yeah, I think that was a good move. Because there's this thing called terms of service. I think that when people look at free speech, and this is obviously like, one of the biggest points that people like to use to defend them is, oh, it's free speech. It's free speech. And it's like, most people forget that, like, yeah, free speech is important, right? But the problem is that you can't have freedom of speech without freedom of consequence. So if I were, like I said, if I were to sit here and just talk shit about like a certain group of people, and I would expect backlash because that's freedom of I'm sorry, not freedom from consequence. What am I trying to say? Freedom of speech does not come with freedom of consequence, basically. So like if you say something, people are going to disagree with it. The best way to, like, I guess, combat people like Stefan Molyneux and James Alsop is to use your own freedom of speech. But when the questions of like entities like YouTube or like Twitter and Facebook and whatnot, how do they combat them? And the obvious choice is, well, terms of service, suspension, and banning. Like Stefan Molyneux and James Alsop and everybody like them have all said like egregious things about certain groups of people, not just in videos, but in like posts and comments and whatnot. And I guess like the question is like, if you're someone like YouTube, if you're someone like Twitter or Facebook, would you want somebody like that on your platform? just sharing these opinions out in the wild. Would you want somebody like Stefan Molyneux who sits there and goes, "Oh yeah, I recently made a trip to Poland, right? And
Oh God.
and I'm not a white nationalist, but I'm an empiricist. I'm looking around. I don't see any crime. I don't see people like yelling at me for stating my opinion and all this when really, when you go deeper, it's basically, oh yeah, there's no brown or black people around. So Poland's good because of that. When you look at someone like James Alsop, who has been to Charlottesville, who has also said some pretty fucked up shit. It's like from a corporate standpoint, like at YouTube, it's like, oh yeah, do we really want these people on this platform? And honestly, I think that YouTube ultimately got rid of them because they recognized, like, I don't know, I kind of want to say maybe because some advertisers, they were like, well, do we really want to like put ads on, a platform that hosts people like this? And, they actually had to take a decision and stuff like that. But I also do think it has a lot to do with terms of service because, like I said, and some of Stefan Molyneux and Alsop's and like everybody like them in their videos, they have said egregious shit. So it's like, yeah, take action, and I do agree with that. But
So, just a question I have for you. Did you ever consider yourself a free speech absolutist?
Oh no. Even when I was conservative, like I never considered myself like, oh, it's free speech or it's no speech. Like, no, I never consider myself that. Like I always kind of recognize like, oh yeah, you have free speech, I have free speech. Like if you say some shit, I can say some shit back. That's just how, this game works, I guess. If you want to put it that way. Like I said, it's like freedom of speech is not freedom from consequence. Like if you were to sit there and say like, oh yeah, black people are shit, right? I should be able to sit here and tell you, well, no, they're not. And that's ridicule. That's consequence. So yeah, I do. I've never been a free speech absolutist.
Okay. I see that Angie posted the dog whistles of what do you think? They won't say overtly racist stuff out loud,
Yeah,
and that's how they actually get people involved because a lot of people are not aware of dog whistles, and it's so easy to like we go back to people like Jordan Peterson. He would say something that is kind of leaning on the lines of like. Him saying we don't know the rules is basically him saying, we don't know the rules, so like maybe women shouldn't wear makeup in the workplace because it gets guys all hot and sweaty underneath. And anyone who assumes that he's saying that, which it actually looks like he's saying that, he would be like, whoa there, you took me out of context. That's not what I said. And this is what a lot of them do. And then you're wondering, why are they not trying to be as clear and concise as they should? Why aren't they doing that? If they don't want to be taken out of context, if they're getting tired of being called Nazis and racist and all sorts of things, wouldn't they try to be more concise with their speech? And clearly, the reason why they're not is because they want to continue to use those dog whistles. So Burger Boy asks, so should someone like Count Dankula be considered alt-right?
I don't really think that Count Dankula is alt-right. I know some people who do think that he's alt-right, but me personally, no, I don't think he's alt-right. Wait, is this about the dog Nazi thing?
I don't think it's much of that because apparently Vosh spoke to Count Dankula at one point, and I think Vosh mentioned that he thinks that Count Dankula is an alt-right. Count Dankula has continuously worked alongside people like Sargon, Lawrence Southern. He has said some questionable things in the past. Of course, that the dog Nazi video. So that's why I, like you said, I can see why a lot of people are thinking this. A lot of people would consider him a useful idiot.
Yeah, that's what I would think of him as, like just a useful idiot.
Mm-hmm. And do you think there's a lot of useful idiots, or do you think that a lot of these people that you have watched in the past actually do believe their point of views?
I do think that there are like a lot of useful idiots. Like I think I try to like look at this might sound funny, but I kind of try to look at like the good in things. So like not everything is like too good, not everything is like too bad, but just like, just like that small silver, like I guess silver lining, or that small gleamer of hope that, things aren't as bad as they seem. So like when we look at someone like Lauren Chin, where she said things like I'm a Christian nationalist, or um she's like, I think like when Donald Trump was like he's gonna stop funding for schools, I think it was schools that reopen or something, schools that don't reopen or something like that. And she agreed with it. She was like, yeah, right on. And stuff like that. Stuff that you would commonly see with like the alt-right. Do I think that Lauren Chin herself is alt-right? No, I just think that she's a useful idiot. Like I think even people like Richard Spencer have even noted this about people like Lauren Chin and Sargon, is that they're not alt-right, but they're alt-right sympathetic. And I think even, yeah, Richard Spencer did mention that she was like somewhat sympathetic to like the alt-right. They never
Yeah.
said that she was, but I guess you could say alt-right sympathetic, alt-right supportive. Yeah.
I would have to at least slightly disagree with you on there. I really do believe Lauren Chen is alt-right. And the reason I do is because one of the things that I've noticed, in fact, she has mentioned that she was involved with politics since the age of 15. She has taken political science courses. And on top of that, she has done a lot of digging into the alt-right. She has friends that are alt-right. She knows many things about it. So for her to be, a lot of people assume that she's just playing dumb and she has no idea what the hell she's doing. I really think she does know exactly what she's doing based off her past. And I think when Booger Boy says here, useful idiot equals grifter, I think people can, and this is a question I would like to ask you as well. Do you believe that people can be like half grifter, but half actually believe what they're saying?
I think there's a possibility for that. Because like I know like when we look at people like Dave Rubin, or like Candace Owens rather, like when we look at some of the things that they're saying, it's like does Candace Owens really think that like her comment about Hitler? I always tend to think this with that comment. It's like, oh yeah, Hitler was perfect, like would have been perfectly fine if he just operated with inside Germany. And it's like, do you really think that, Candace? Because he was killing off black people too, Candace. He was killing off people that look just like you and me. But or like other things that she said, which are just like parrots of like what like conservatives say. Like, does she really believe this stuff? I would say that most people would say no. She's just in it for the money. And also, she says she became a conservative overnight because people like talk shit about her website or whatever. And it's like, really, that's your reason for being conservative? Nah, I don't think you're actually a conservative. I don't think you actually believe what you're saying. But or like people like Dave Rubin, and their sorts. But like when we look at people who actually like do agree with what they say, I kind of like to look at things in like a spectrum. So like you have one side grifter, one side believer. At some point there is going to be a middle point where yes, this person is in it for the money, but they do believe exactly what they're saying. So I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head who fits that description. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there are people like that.
I would have to say definitely people like Candace Owens and Lauren Chen. Lauren Chen even bragged about how much money she was making. So there is an aspect of like, hey, I'm enjoying the amount of money I'm making, but at the same time, I might actually believe what I'm spouting out. Cos made a really well-made point here. Whether or not she is, her positions align with the alt-rights and would lead to the same outcomes. So after you started to see that you were getting disconnected from that conservative side, how did that make you feel? And how did that make everyone around you feel?
Um, it made me feel it kind of gave me a new perspective on the world around me. So like, because before I just had this one perspective, I just had like the conservative perspective, and um, just looking at the world through that lens. But I guess getting exposed to like this other side, and just getting exposed to, I guess not only what I learned from sociology, but just from like following like different left leaning people and different and watching like leftist content creators or you know liberal content creators. It really did give me a new perspective. The people around me, I don't really I don't think it really had that much of an effect on the people around me. Like my mom, she didn't really seem to care. um, she was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's good. Um, I know my sister, same way. None of my friends really seemed that affected by it. It was kind of like it's kind of weird because like when a person changes, you expect like everybody else for them to change in a like drastic way too. But with me, it wasn't that. It was like I changed drastically, but everybody around me was like kind of nonchalant about it. They were like, "Oh, well, okay, that's good." But I will say online though was like where I saw the biggest change. Because I spend more time online, like interacting than I do in real life.
Oh, most of us do.
So like all these conservatives I used to follow when I started to go leftward, they all treated me differently. So before it was, oh yeah, I'm not voting like okay, so I remember the first time I was gonna vote. And I didn't actually the funny thing is while I was conservative, I didn't end up voting Republican for like the governor race because at the time Illinois did have a Republican governor, but to me he was bullshit. So I went the libertarian route. uh and I remember like stating I was like, yeah, I'm not a I like laughing looking back at this. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not like the other. I literally said this. I was like, I'm not like the rest of the black people. I'm gonna vote differently. Fuck the Democratic Party. I'm not doing that. And um, I remember like all these conservatives were like, wow, you're so smart. Wow, you're so brilliant. Wow, this is great, man. This is great. And I do remember this one person. It was kind of harsh, but it was funny. Now that I look back on it, he called me Kanye West.
Oh.
Um, it was kind of like one of those moments where it's like, all right, you just insulted me, but like when I look back on it, I'm like, in some ways, yeah, I kind of I kind of was like Kanye. I don't know. That's just like the one instance that's kind of funny to look back on because the same people who were congratulating me for like not voting Democrat and not believing in the lies, right? When I came out as like a leftist, they really changed. They stopped talking to me. They stopped associating with me. I remember because he did the same thing to you. This German dude.
Oh my goodness.
it
I
was this,
forgot about him.
it
Oh.
was this, it was this German dude, and yeah. So I remember I made like this big post. And I was like thanking everybody who like kind of exposed me to like decide and give me a different perspective. And he was like, "Oh, so now you're a liberal, huh?" Wow, he was like, "Yeah, good for you. Congratulations." I'm like, "Why are you being such an asshole?" Like, and that was like one of the biggest I guess it's like the biggest like change in behavior towards me I can remember because before that, me and him were actually cool. We used to talk a lot. And after that, he hated me. He stopped talking to me. He didn't want anything to do with me. Yeah.
Actually, we ended up finding out, if I don't know if you remember this, we ended up finding out that he considered himself, I think, like a nationalist.
Oh yeah, he I think he considered himself, oh man, was it a I think it was
Yeah,
black nationalist.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So we dodged a bullet there. In fact, when I started changing my, it was a slow process for me, but I eventually made a video. And um, do you feel that everyone understood that this was a slow process for you, that you started to slowly change your point of view, or from your perspective, did it look like they just suddenly found out that you're no longer conservative?
It kind of seemed like they suddenly kind of felt that way. Especially with him, like it just seemed like, in his mind he was like, oh, this is so sudden, like it didn't happen for like months, right? Like it wasn't like like months long process of like me just like, trying to um I guess change my perspective or whatever. To him it just seemed like it was just this sudden thing where it's like, oh, now you're a liberal. What's wrong with you? um but yeah, uh to some people, like in my opinion, yeah, it did seem like some people kind of saw it as like a big sudden change.
Yeah, I find most people do that. I don't know if you had a lot of Jordan Peterson fans on your particular channel, but the minute I
Oh,
started being
no.
a bit more critical of Jordan Peterson, they just like ran away.
I do
uh,
remember this one person who always used to comment on my videos. Ooh, curtain.
it's windy outside. It just like flew on me.
But I do remember this one person, Emily John. I'll never forget her. She always used to comment on some of my
Yes.
videos.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I know like my channel's like mainly like liberal, not liberal, oh my god, leftist content on my channel. I don't know why I said liberal, but uh but she would I remember like she used to comment on like my videos, and I remember one was like the Gillette one, and
Yes.
she said that my content was because I don't really remember seeing her on like any of my other content. I do think she used to follow me on Twitter. Maybe that's how she found my content, but she was like, "Oh, this is feminist content." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Here we go." She's like, "Yeah, you're posting like you're a feminist here. You're posting feminist content." And I didn't take her seriously. I just thought she was bullshit. I used to like I remember one time I think the last time like she commented on my video, I was like, "Do you want to debate me?" And after that, she didn't comment whatsoever. So I was like, "All right, yeah, she's not to be taken seriously." But yeah, she was one of those people.
So you haven't heard back from her since then?
Nope. I thought you know what? It's funny because like she was kind of annoying, but I miss her. I guess it's like it's weird because it's like it was always funny laughing at like her comments and stuff, but now I'm just like, damn, I wish she would comment again.
So I just want to make one comment here. For a little bit of my experience here, I still have about, I think, 2 people that still watch my content, that just they're watching out of hate. I
Oh my,
don't know. I don't know why. I don't watch Blair White's content. I don't watch Lawrence Chen's content if I truly don't like them. So I don't know why people do that. But apparently, there's still he actually calls himself a neo-Nazi that watches me. And there's Czech.
oh yeah, check your logic.
It's like
I remember
clearly hates me. It's like, why are you watching me?
I met him
Um,
through, I actually do remember how I met him. We used to watch his like me and him both watched the same YouTuber. I think her name was Some Dumb American. Um,
mm,
and she was streaming once with a friend, and me and him we kind of started talking in like the stream chat, and then he started following my channel, and he started watching my content and stuff like that. Yeah, I actually do remember how I met him, but now he doesn't like me.
okay, you know what? He doesn't like anyone at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to the chat here because I want to say hi to Vixie Pixie. Vixie
Ah,
Pixie
Vixie. Hi.
is awesome. So Vixie wrote here: Candace Owens has a current lawsuit for her being treated racist. She believes in racism. She is just a full-on grifter and doesn't buy into any of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if you want an example of a believer, look no further than Jesse Lee Peterson. That dude, I don't understand.
It hurts. It hurts to see him. It does.
Same.
Because didn't he do like a post where he was dressed as a slave and he had like a cotton sack? I'm like, dude, I don't know what money I don't even know if he's getting paid for it. Like he's probably just doing this for free, like out of like just his beliefs and shit. Like I don't know like what pushes you to I don't know what pushes someone to just do that. Like
I think a lot of people don't tend to comprehend that there's so many different degrees. So when we're thinking of like a grifter, we're thinking of the likes of Ariel Scarcella. When we're thinking of people that may believe in something, but they're being useful idiots, we think of the likes of Dave Rubin. When we're thinking of people that full-blown believe in things that they're saying, it's the likes of Sargon of Akkad, Richard Spencer. And when we're thinking of people like Jesse Lee Peterson, I don't see him on I don't see him on any
He's on
of
his
them.
own level.
He's on his own level. He's like somewhere on the other side by himself. I don't understand that guy.
Because I do remember in I think it was you and Vixie when you guys talked about like her journey, and she did mention Jesse Lee Peterson and how like
he confuses me, and I'm like, that is 100% exactly how I feel.
Like like I think his family were sharecroppers, and you know they had to like go through like just the Jim Crow South, and you know his experiences, and maybe you know being exposed to like all this like I guess anti-black sentiments and whatnot. Maybe he like somewhat self-eternalized it into himself that you know, well shit, black people are just they're shit, and you know even though he's black. I do like note how like I do remember this one. It was so funny. He was talking with this professor, and the professor was black, and Jesse Lee Peterson said something about black people, and the professor's like, Jesse, you're black. He's like, I think I can't really remember it, but I do think that Jesse Lee Peterson was like, well, yeah, I'm black, but I'm not like one of them. I'm like, oh shit, Jesse, oh god. And the professor's face, he was just like, what the fuck is this guy on? Like
you know what's funny about people like Jesse Lee Peterson is that I was introduced to a few segments of his content, and it always revolved around like mini school things. It wasn't we weren't seeing him talking about how he doesn't feel like he feels like he's the better black person. We're not seeing content like that. We're seeing content of him debunking someone's claims of like something small, let's say. The same of people like Lauren Southern. We see Lauren Southern's anti-feminist marches, where she's going out there with Milo Yiannopoulos. We don't see a lot of her stuff about her throwing flares at migrant boats, for example.
Right.
So there is, when we go back to the YouTube algorithm thing, I really do believe that plays a big role in how people, and like I said, when you were gone for a bit, this seems to be not only what you mentioned. I've spoken to many other people that were involved in the anti-SJW community, people that used to even be involved in the alt-right. They all seem to like that the same thing is the YouTube algorithm. So when we talked about how there's Stefan Molyneux being taken off Twitter, Nick Fuentes being kicked off YouTube, etc., we still have a long way to go because people like Nick Fuentes is still on YouTube. So what do you feel that we can do? Because we talked a little bit about this before when we were talking in this live stream, but what do you think we have to do? Does this have to be a collective thing that we have to do together? Petitions that need to be signed?
Yeah, I always like going down the collective route. Because you know, I don't think that one person can take down like a big I guess, problem. I think it does have to be um, a collective thing. So I guess the main thing that we can do is uh, try to educate people on, certain issues with dealing with like the alt right, and like um why might it be the way that they think this, or like how can we combat, some of the things that they say, or how do we like, how do we even how do we even, know that someone's alt right to begin with? How do we even, like, I guess, figure that out? um I think like we still have a long way to go. Obviously, like this isn't gonna happen overnight. Like, we've already been like what, um, a good like 6, maybe 5 years into this fight. Um, of dealing with the alt right, and like dealing with like, I guess you could say, useful idiots and whatnot. It's gonna take time, but I feel like if we can all kind of like just unite and figure out how do we combat this, I feel like we can achieve things.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
That might
definitely.
sound idealist as fuck, but that's what I think.
No, I completely get that. I think the left needs to actually come together, and it's not just the left; it's even like people that are centrist, even even conservatives that are just completely against the Trump administration and what they are seeing in their own movement. I think that is super important to discuss and find out a way that we can combat this. Um, so there's a question: wouldn't banning them from social platforms aid in their arguments of censoring conservatives? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I can see why that would be the case. Um, but then again, I guess like an easy way that that can be rebutted is liberals and leftists also get banned um from these certain platforms too. So like recently with Reddit, where they've like, I think they've banned like a bunch of subreddits, like the Donald subreddit. What was another one? I think it was gender critical was another
Yeah,
subreddit that
gender
was banned.
critical.
There were some leftists and I guess you could say liberal ones that were banned too. The biggest one, Chapo Trap House.
Mm.
The Chapo Trap House was like the biggest one, like the biggest leftist like slash liberal like subreddit that got like fucking yeeted off of Reddit. Um, I want to say it mainly has to do with terms of service. So like if somebody violates terms of service, they either get suspended or they get banned from the platform. I know like when it happens with conservatives, they love to point like, oh yeah, this never happens with liberals and leftists because these corporations have liberal and leftist like leanings, and it's like, okay, yeah, that could be true, but then again, liberals and leftists are also affected by it too.
Mhm.
Like I think um like I think Destiny's been banned off of Twitter like multiple fucking times.
Mhm.
I think Vosh got banned from Twitch
Oh, and Bailey. Yeah.
for stating his. Yeah, Bailey got
Chud Logic.
yeeted off of Twitter. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um yeah, everybody's affected by it. I don't really think that banning these certain creators, like I could see the reasoning behind saying that. Like, yeah, if you were to ban, say, people like Stefan Molyneux or James Allsop, this could aid them in their like message that, yeah, we're being censored, we're not being paid attention to. Like they're unreasonably kicking us off. But you also have to remember that leftists and liberals also face the same fucking thing.
Mhm. Yeah, it is an effective tool that they use, and a lot of these types of I call them reactionaries here. Uh, they all have the same type of backstory, you know. Jordan Peterson, oh my goodness, look at what happened to me, and they're silencing my voice. Kathy Zhu, oh, they were silencing my voice at school. Oh, what's that other woman's name? She was a student teacher and she happened to play a Jordan Peterson video, and apparently now she's claiming that she was censored. So it's an effective tool, because usually when someone says they want to be that they're being censored, you're more likely to go, "Huh, I want to listen to them. I want to see what actually caused them to go to get censored."
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel that even if we're going to take people like Stefan Molyneux off the platform, we have to have a lot of evidence to prove that they are not fit to have their platform? And I just have to say that I agree with that. So if someone like Stefan Molyneux got kicked off, and a lot of people were like, well, why? Well, we have evidence as to the reasons why they were kicked off, because if we don't have that evidence to prove that they were bad enough to mess with the terms of service, that they got kicked off that platform, a lot of people are just going to feel like they're a victim. So that's how I view it. I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
Oh no, I agree with that. I definitely do agree with that. What am I trying to say? Yeah, I guess all I can say is, yeah, I do agree with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I can't think of what I want to say for.
No, that's totally fine. I do have one last question for you before we finish this discussion. What do you feel needs to be done with leftist content to just engage people more? Because I see there's so many different types of content on the left. When we think about people on the right, they make content almost every day, and it's always like 5, 10, 15-minute videos, and it engages a bunch of people in the audience, and that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We keep seeing it in people's recommended after they watch one video, and that's how people can get like indoctrinated into that type of mentality. Leftist creators, there's leftist creators like ContraPoints that makes hour-long videos that not many people can watch, even me. I have a short attention span. And then we have people like Rico Rats that makes videos that are short and to the point. And what do you feel that we need to do as leftist content creators to get more people involved in our movement?
Yeah. Like you said, like right-wing content, they upload almost like every day. Like I know he's not really that relevant anymore, but no bullshit. Like if you go through his channel and just look at like how many times he uploads like within a week, it's a fucking lot. It's like almost every single day. Versus someone like ContraPoints, or I even say like I might do this. Like my videos aren't as long as Contra's, but like just the time span, like, oh yeah, we won't really make videos for like months. Versus someone like Rico Rants, where I think Rico Rants uploads almost daily, but like you said, he's short and to the point. It is a spectrum. It's a spectrum of like how you want to make your videos and like how you want to plan them out. But I think like one of the main things that I really want to see like leftist content creators do, not focus on theory that much. I do know like some leftist content creators, they like theory, and it's like, yeah, theory is good, but it shouldn't be like the overall basis of how you want to, I guess, reach people. Because people like me, I don't really like reading. Like I don't really like reading like the words of some guy from like 200 years prior, right? I want to know what's here, and I want to know what's now, and I want to know how we can look at the world now, and like how we can come up with problems to solve the issues around us from a leftist perspective. I don't want to look at the words of Karl Marx, because Karl Marx's words were dealing with his time and what he saw and what he had to go through, right? That's one thing. The second thing is, the thing about conscious videos are like, they're long, but she does make them interesting. And like some of the things that she does is she'll come up with like different characters. She'll use humor here and there. It's educational, but it's entertaining at the same time, albeit long. But I would like to see just a bit more entertainment from, I guess, the leftist perspective. I am starting to see like a bit more leftist content creators who do go down that route, like just like the whole entertaining but educational sort of side. Sometimes I do think that I'm a bit serious, but I do try my best to add like little entertainment things here and there. But yeah, that's another thing. I do think that you kind of need to balance things out a bit when you're trying to like reach people. So like, because let's face it, nobody wants to watch a video like there's a reason why people don't like school, and that's because there are teachers at school who they're not entertaining. They're just, hey, I'm here to lecture, I'm not here to entertain you. You came here to learn, you didn't come here to have fun. But it's like it shouldn't be that way. Sure, learning is important, but learning should also be fun. And I think that's something that we need to focus on more, is how do we make learning about leftism fun? How do we make it engaging? Because when you look at the anti-SJWs, um, I don't really I don't really want to say that their content is educational, but it's entertaining. So when you look at someone like oh my god, when you look at someone like Chris Raygun, or I don't think she's an anti-SJW anymore, but like back then when she was Shoe on Head, or some black guy, when you look at their videos, they're entertaining. They make jokes. They might use memes. They might, they use certain edits here and there, um, where it's appealing to like a young audience. So I do remember, because I think Xander Hall mentioned it, was with Chris Raygun's videos, he'll use loud noises that are like most associated with memes, where like loud noises are used. um he'll use those noises, and it's like to kind of make his own point. And I do find that to be kind of interesting, because it kind of shows like the entertainment aspect. It kind of shows like why this appeals to them, and like why it might appeal to Chris's audience, or like people who are coming to watch Chris Raygun's videos or whatnot. um yeah, I do think, like, I'm not saying to do it exactly like that, but like try to be a bit more entertaining, try to make it like engaging, and just try to um try to gain an audience that way. Like I said, just the basic gist. Educational but fun.
Mm-hmm. And how do you see your what do you see in your YouTube's future? Like what do you see happening with your
Oh, um shit, I have no idea. uh well, I guess like what I can see in my channel's future. I mean, I didn't expect the channel to get to this level this fast. Like, because I've only, like, believe it or not, like, you might think someone like me, oh yeah, they've been on YouTube for like 4 years. No, I've been on YouTube since September of 2018. Um, yeah. So I haven't been on YouTube for that long. I'm still a youngling. But oh boy. I guess in the channel's future, I do want to try to make more content, and I do want to try to go down the route that I said that I think um left to bread to, whatever you want to call it, should go down.
Mm-hmm.
Um uh and also I guess I want to do more live streams. Um because I do see live streams as fun. Like, yeah, they can be long, but like when people are there and they're watching a live stream, it does feel engaging because you're engaging with the audience. I always like doing that. Like, I know there's like with this thing with YouTube where like you have YouTubers, and I know, like, they have lots of like, say like big YouTubers, right? They have lots of subscribers. They can't engage with them all, but you do have some YouTubers who they have this audience and they don't engage with them. And you know, it's like, well, shit, why am I watching you? Like, why am I watching your content? Why am I like, you know, like liking your content and you're not liking me, you know, as an audience member? So one of the things that I do try to do is I try to engage with my audience, whether that is if they comment, respond, or you know, do a live stream and like just talk to them. That's kind of why I like live streams, is because it just gives you a chance to engage with the audience. It gives you a chance to really I guess be with them in a sense. Yeah, that's something that I do look to like do more in the, like with the future of the channel. Is just like just more live streams to kind of like engage my audience and um I guess let them know like, shit, I'm not this closeted person, you know. I'm not like, oh yeah, like, you're following me, but I'm not gonna let you know like I'm not gonna let you know who I am, or like, you know, I'm not gonna let you know like that I'm here, like I'm not here. I'm sorry that I'm here, right? Yeah, that's something that I do want to do more in the future.
Actually, what I like about your channel is you tend to make content that is straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're serious, and that's what I like about your content, is that you're really serious about things that are serious. And when we think about it, the reason why it's so hard to make like fun content when it comes up on the left is because a lot of the stuff that we're speaking about, we take it very seriously. So it's hard to kind of have that fun aspect of it. But I get what you're saying, and I think that's actually super important that we that we're able to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any last things that you would like to say before we wrap up?
Any last things? No, not really. Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Well, I want to say that this was a pleasure. I had you on my channel several times actually, just to have like
Yeah.
fun like videos together where we're just talking with a bunch of other YouTubers. But this was amazing. I really wanted to have this conversation with you, and the fact that it's was finally able to happen, I really appreciate you coming on my channel for this.
Thank you. I appreciated being here.
Okay, awesome.
Also, okay, everybody in chat, like, just know, Amanda. So, okay, Amanda is just a great YouTuber. Because okay, this is actually something I did want to address. Like, one of the things that I do like about your channel is the content is different. So like you'll have like, because I know like lately the route you've been taking is like doing more live streams, but also something else that um you kind of did like before the live streams was you made memes. And I was like, that's so cool, because you don't really see that a lot with like leftist content creators, where they'll make memes of like, you know, different conservatives or right wingers. Like, sure, they might use memes in their videos to like kind of talk about them, but like, no, you literally like because I remember it was the one with Stefan Molyneux in Poland. I think you did one out of that, and I was dying at that. And I also like the one with Zizek and Peterson.
Oh yes, yeah.
Like, he's just talking about like the fucking Communist Manifesto, and Peterson's just like Googling it and shit. That shit was hilarious. But yeah, we do need more of that, you know, just more of like kind of, I guess, poking fun at like, you know, the right, and kind of showing like, well, see, they're not that good.
Yeah, I first of all, thank you for saying that. That means a lot to
No
me.
problem.
I loved making. I call them like YouTube poop. I think that's what people actually call them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I just love doing that because a lot of the things I couldn't stand, especially that came from the right, is the left can't meme and the left are not funny.
Right. Oh my
like,
god.
We can be funny. Okay, like, and like I'm glad those videos did pretty well. I would like to do more of those, but I do enjoy doing live streams and it's working out. I love doing interviews like what I'm doing with you right now. I love those type of
Mm-hmm.
things. I feel like it gets a lot of the messages across as well. Cause wants to ask, can I ask Lynn a quick question? Sure. Right
Oh
before
yeah,
we
you
end?
can, you can, no
Okay,
problem.
awesome. And yeah, I appreciate that a lot, actually. I I like how we ended up having a whole like I like your channel, I like your channel at the end of our conversation. I just love it. Um, humor is a powerful weapon. It definitely
It
is,
is, it
and
is.
the alt right tend to use a lot of memes, and that's how they're
Mm-hmm.
engaging with their audience, and they're just saying it's just a joke, bro. And you know what? I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be like, it's just a joke. Actually, watch it and you'll see how ridiculous a lot of the people on the right really truly are. I just some last comment as well. I really do believe that a lot of people, a lot of these reactionaries are just plain old hypocrites. And it's clear as day now that the last video I did when I was talking about Lincoln Park, and all the Trump supporters got mad that Lincoln Park was not supporting Trump. It's like, it's funny enough, they call us snowflakes, but they end up being the snowflakes themselves. And
Mm.
now, Cause mentions, do you ever worry about younger audiences swinging back towards the right in a few years? That's a very, very good question. Wow.
Yeah, that's something that I do think about often, is because I know like the sense amongst like some like leftist content creators is like, oh yeah, we're winning now, right? But it's like, oh my god, you don't want to become too confident in yourself, right? Like you want to have confidence, of course. Like confidence is important, but there's a difference between being confident and then being too confident, right? And it's like, sure, younger audiences, like, excuse me, I think it was like a poll done, and it was like Gen Z is the most progressive generation out of all the generations so far. It's like, that's good. That's good. We want that, right? But the problem is that you have this content where it's funny, it's entertaining, they're using memes, right? And it's like recently you do kind of see, like, recently there has been this like small resurgence in like some anti-SJW content creators. What was it? God, it was what was it was like one recent event. I don't know if it's like George Floyd or anything like that, but it might have been George Floyd, and like some of the corporations like donating money to like different charities and whatnot. But honestly, forgot. I know there's been like a few instances lately where you can say like the alt, not alt right. Oh my god. Yeah, to some degree the alt right, but mainly the anti-SJW community, like they have kind of come back just a little bit. So um do I think that younger audiences are going to like go back to them? Yeah, that's something that you should always like consider, because the thing about politics and the thing about life is like life always changes, and with that so do political ideas. Funny enough, about the German dude again.
Oh,
I
God.
remember when me and him were talking, he did talk about how he constantly like shifted back and forth. So like at one point he was leftist, then he was conservative, then he was liberal, then he was conservative. Um, and I mean, although he doesn't like me, I do remember something he told me that always sticks with me, and it's um, he said it was going to happen to me, but so far it hasn't. Not saying that it won't ever, because shit, sometimes I do think like, well, damn, like this is just stuff that like randomly enters my mind. It's like, damn, what if like tomorrow I wake up and I'm like, shit, I'm a centrist, or like, shit, I'm a liberal, yeah, people always change, and their beliefs and their ideas about the world around them are always going to change. And if if we're looking at these younger audiences and we're like, well, yeah, they're hooked on leftism now. They're not going to go away. Well, shit, some of them might, some of them might go, to these anti-SJW content creators and be like, well, shit, I definitely agree with this, and they can get hooked on that. So, it's always something to think about. It's always something to consider. But does it worry me? I wouldn't say it worries me, but it's just something that I always think about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's actually something that makes a lot of sense. I think that what we talked about even before this question is a lot about how we can find a way to kind of match, not with our political views and our mindsets, but match like what they're doing to gain a lot of I don't know why my camera did that. To gain some popularity. We try to bring out more content. We try to put it a bit humorous as well. We try to be educational on top of that. Not read into too much theory, but try to get some. And that's important because the reason a lot of people get involved in this type of stuff is because it's easier to digest. I mean, Blair White is not the most intelligent person, so it's pretty easy to digest what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I view it. And I think you made an excellent point. And yeah, I really like the question. I really like the answer. So I'm going to wrap it up here because this was just an excellent discussion. I would love to have you on my channel again, obviously.
And I would love to be here.
just obviously putting that out there. I want to thank everyone in the audience as well for tuning in and even asking questions for Lynn. I thought that was amazing. So just to mention, in the description box, I'm going to be leaving her YouTube channel. I'm going to be leaving Lynn's Twitter as well, your Twitter account, and you guys can check it out. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm pretty sure most have already subscribed to Lynn, and subscribe to me if you're new as well. And we'll be back, of course. I'm gonna have Lynn on my channel again and again and again because I love her. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Lynn, once again, and see you guys around.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.